We're doing very well on the war front, to put it mildly, I would say. Somebody said, on a scale of 10, where would you rate it? I said about a 15.
Okay, President Trump addressing reporters on the 5th day of war in the Middle East as Republicans in the Senate reject an effort that would have required congressional approval before further attacks.
Senators face a choice: stand with the American people who are tired of war in the Middle East, or side with Donald Trump, who bumbles America into another war most Americans fiercely oppose.
The so-called War Powers Resolution failed on a 47-53 vote. Senator Rand Paul was the only Republican to join Democrats and vote yes, while Democrat John Fetterman was the only one in his party to vote no and side with the GOP, who argue the president needs wide-ranging powers to keep Americans safe.
If we didn't hit within 2 weeks, they would have had a nuclear weapon. If we didn't do the B-2 attack a number of months ago, they would have a nuclear weapon. And when crazy people have nuclear weapons, bad things happen.
It comes as the Pentagon released video, here it is, of a U.S. submarine using a torpedo to sink an Iranian warship in the Indian Ocean. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth saying the overall mission is still in its early days and that the next phase is to take control of Iranian airspace.
The mission is laser focused. Obliterate Iran's missiles and drones and facilities that produce them, annihilate its navy and critical security infrastructure, and sever their pathway to nuclear weapons.
Iran's murderous terrorist leaders are paying for their crimes against America, and they are paying in blood.
Officials in Iran say more than 1,000 people have been killed since U.S. and Israeli strikes began on Saturday.
Unfortunately, the terrorist Iranian regime refused to negotiate in good faith. They chose this path of violence and destruction, and they are reaping the consequences of their horrible decision.
The U.S.-based human rights activist news agency reports that hundreds of civilians are among the dead, including around 180 children under the age of 10. Now, those numbers compare to around a dozen people killed in Israel and 6 U.S. service members. NBC News reporting today that White House officials are expected to meet with defense contractors on Friday to discuss weapons production. The meeting comes amid questions about whether the U.S. has enough munitions to carry out a war that the president says could last weeks or longer.